David, I've heard that you have some of Spoiler in you, Pretender, Kitchener, Sparrow. Sometimes when I listen to your music, it's like I'm taken on an astral journey onto some other planet where some other world exists in harmony and relaxation because one is so much at peace with one's work, knowing that the work is great.
Life and light into the vibration. It might be a bad vibe, but it comes over, and I can see something in it that that's rich and strong, and I try to develop that.
So what are you saying? Sometimes the bad vibes come to you and say, and you tell yourself, maybe that would not be David Rudder if I sing it, and so you scrap the idea.
Well, no, like they say, out of a muddy pond, you can get beautiful flowers. So sometimes out of that mud, you can create something. You can see the beauty in something, and that's what I leave my antennas out, and sometimes I pick up that, and this is how I create.
So you're saying that the creative energy is always with you.
Well, it has been for a while, and I hope it never leaves.
Do you plan when you're going to compose a calypso? Does the idea hit you at any strange place, and then you have to keep it in your mind, bearing in mind too that there may be other forces out there, like people who may distract you, and maybe fear of losing that by the time you reach home, maybe?
Sometimes you lose things, but the strong ones normally never leave you. It always will stay with you. If you get something and you get distracted 10 times and you still know it after that, that means that was a true thing. Sometimes you pick up something else and you get distracted for 1 second and it's lost. And maybe that wasn't as deep as the other one. So this is how I operate.
Yeah, you seem to, and you are the kind of calypsonian, I think, that puts a lot, not only thought, but very deep thought into what you're doing because of the attitude of your music.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, music is what I've been put here to do, art on the whole, right? And I feel that if I don't give my gift, it's true. I don't give back all that I could to it. It will be lost. That's why I feel that sometimes I don't feel that the creative juice will ever leave me, simply because I follow what comes to me, and that's what I put back out, and it's like each of my songs are like my children, so it's like a special thing. Each has its special place, and I treat it as such. It's not just like creating something for a superficial reason or something like that. It is very, very, very real to me.
David Rudder is on stage and you are singing, you're doing a number, and you look into the eyes and the faces of the audience and you see coming back at you that power of satisfaction on the faces. Does that inspire you?
Well, that's what you work for. You feed off your audience. You give and they give you back. The hardest work you can do is if you're giving and you're not getting back. But that's what it's all about. You go out there and you give, and the more they give you back, the higher you can take it, and that's what it's all about, basically.
What is a bad day in the life of David Rudder?
A bad day. Sometimes if you I don't know, it's hard because the way I see it is even the things that appear bad to me, I always look for the reason and what I can get out of it. So it's hard for me to say what a bad day is, The way I turn everything around to sort of strengthen me, So that's a very hard one, Even if you get a non-receptive audience, let's say. I look at it and say, well, why, and if I get an answer to it, then I'm stronger for it, So it's hard to I can't remember a bad day. So it's a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've been putting this to the Calypsonian so far this year, David, because I'm so concerned about it, to a state of paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the media is doing such an injustice to the art form. you're not hearing enough of it. For instance, Trinidad, the land of calypso, is still complaining that there's not enough of the calypso being played on the air after Carnival. There is the proliferation of the dancehall, reggae, and American music on the charts. For instance, there's still American top 40 on the radio stations back in Trinidad. You hear one or two selections from an album. Some people say, "Oh, that's traditional." In my estimation, the media is there to educate and uplift the mind, so there shouldn't be a time limit on calypso.
Well, um, that's what they see when they go home in the little box in their house. You know, like the CNN and MTV and what have you. That's what they see. That's what everyone sees. The kids, the grown-ups, everyone. And when you have a small, insecure societies, this is what is a danger, because people stop believing in their own vibe. You know, they don't recognize their own strength again. You know, because this thing is coming at them all the time, and you know, a lot of people hide behind those sort of excuses and so on. But I think it's a bit of maybe self-hatred is a too strong a word, but it's something in there that they are almost afraid of their own self. You know, unless someone steps out and does something really extreme, they say, yes, now they step out and say, well, we can identify with that, but that person has to do it on his or her own, you know, as opposed to people just believing in themselves, you know. And it's sad in one way, but on the other hand, like I say, it teaches like what I've learned from it is that I can't really me personally, I never depend on people. I have to do what I have to do, you know, and that is firm in my mind, you know. I don't have to sort of bend to suit a crowd or do this to do that, you know. I just do what I always do, whatever comes to me, whatever I feel, and I'm protected by it, because I go home sometimes in October after touring for 6-7 months, and without any idea what I'm going to do. And then suddenly I write 12 songs within 2 weeks, you know, and record them. And, you know, it's like, how come, you know? It's because I'm following the vibe, you know. And I try to show that instead of trying to tell people and this and all they must support, I try to just show by my very actions, and hopefully somebody might pick up on it.